Welcome to London Session live stream 8th July. Today is 8th July and let me check if we are online. So alright, let's start. For today will be a high volume day. I am expecting a very high volume day today. So first of all, let's look at what we were anticipating yesterday. Yesterday in gold, we were consolidating between 1747 and 1741. I was expecting some sort of volume to appear so that I can potentially take a trade and probably a win. So I waited a whole, I would say 7 to 10 hours on this trade. So finally a volume do appear, although we have wicks, but once price faked below this area close back in, I was anticipating price to keep pushing up this candle wicks below first, and I sort of entered right at this area for prices to keep pushing up. Prices do keep push up and secured around 33 pips in gold. So basically I just waited for 7 to 10 hours on this trade to work out, and finally we won a trade. And in GBP our analysis was buys above 162.500 area and shorts below 162 area. We waited for this trade for whole like 8 to 10 hours and our trade didn't appear, although prices do broke above 162.500 area, but there was fewer confirmations, so I stayed away from this trade and trade went in like 60-70 pips profit, but that's not the point. I just stayed away from this trade because this trade doesn't meet the criteria for me to enter a trade. At this point, I was anticipating buys above this area and I waited a lot. I sort of was anticipating buys from this area and waited an hour more, but the things I was looking for at this point didn't appeared, so I stayed away from this area, from this trade. And later on, our analysis was if we break above 162.700 area, we can potentially keep pushing up till 163.400 area. And that played out perfectly, but I didn't take this setup and I will not take this setup because it didn't meet the criteria I wanted for my trades to have. And then, so if I look at my blog, I have uploaded my yesterday's trade right here. It was based on my pattern 1. You can look what pattern 1 is by looking at another chart, and that's it. So for now, we will redo our analysis and we will basically wait for our trades to appear. If we look at news today, we have high volatile news event coming at New York Open. So all we need to do is to wait, and we will probably wait a lot until volume hits market and we can probably execute a trade. So first of all, we will redo our analysis for today. We will delete everything from yesterday. All right, in gold, let's look at higher time frames. In monthly, we are basically breaking below 1753 area, and there is a support at 1706 area, but there are a lot of rejection, and this area is pretty dirty. There is no clean range present, but monthly candle is moving down with little to no retracement to upside. But overall trend in gold is bearish, so we need to be very careful. We don't want to do counter trend trade while trend is pushing hard. So this is the point I want you to keep in mind while doing our lower time frame analysis. In weekly time frame, this weekly candle has dropped like 800 pips, 750 pips down with little to no retracements, and we are potentially approaching a heavy rejection zone in weekly time frame. We need to be very careful of that, but on the other hand, we need to be very cautious of the fact that we are pushing bearish, and anything buys in at this point may be disastrous. So we need to keep both these points in mind. Basically, whenever there is volume in markets, market basically broke away through all the zones. That's what I have witnessed so far. So, however, in weekly, we have a resistance at 1872 area. We don't have any recent support. We have a support at 1810, but that support is now broken. And we will look at lower time frame to find most recent support and resistance, and the most recent zones where prices can potentially move for today. So if we look at daily, we are forming a support at this point. This area is basically a support, a daily support at 1736 area. We will draw our zone at 1736 area. And on the other hand, we don't have any recent resistance. We have resistance at 1811, but that area is almost like 700 pips away from this point. That's why I will we will need to look at lower time frame to find something closer where prices can potentially move. So this is our support zone. We have a resistance zone at 1711 in H4 time frame, and this thing is also a very strong H4 resistance. We need to be aware of both these things. Now if we go back to a lower time frame, we need to readjust our, now we have a support at 1733 and we have a resistance at 1770. So on the other hand, we also have a resistance at 1747. If we are to move up, we need to break and close above 1747 for a potential 100 pips at this point. On the other hand, if we are to go bearish, we are to break below 1733 area, or we need to have some sort of volume. Like I executed a buy position yesterday. It was a range first of all, but price did some sort of action that that I even executed within a range. So that's a whole lot different story. So at this point, we have an other support at 1738. Break if we are to move lower, we need to first break 1738 area. We have another support at 1737, and below that support we have 35 pips of range till 1733 area. So I will rather stay away trading below 1738 for potential 1733 area. I will rather wait for prices to set up, and I may trade later on. But according to my trading plan, I am not allowed to trade on NFP on high volatile news events. That's why I will be waiting patiently before and after news. I can enter before the news, but I can't enter on news candle. I need to wait. So we will take a look at if we can find some trade in gold or in GBP JPY today. If we look at M30, we have a support at 1738 area. Below that support we have a rejection. We need to be very careful of this rejection at 1737 area, and below that area we have 37 pips of range, but this is not a clean range, so I will rather avoid this trade unless I see some sort of volume present in market. So buys above 1748 area. This is what we are anticipating. And on the other hand, we need to look what's below 1733 area and where can prices potentially move if we break below 1733 area. So our bias for buys is if we need to break above 1748 area, not only break above but close above 1748 area to potentially keep pushing up till 1759 area, almost 120 pips of range. So it is a pretty decent and clean range, and I will execute if I find something on this trade. We have a consolidation of around 83 pips. That's a lot of consolidation, but we will see how prices will react and how we will be able to find entries. But let's look at what's below 1733 by looking at higher time frame. We are moving left. All right, we need to look at this area. If we look in this area 1733, we have a clean move till 1725, almost like 70 pips of range below 1733 area. And if we break below 1725, we have another support at 1713 area. But yes, we have another support at 1722 area also, and below that we have a other support at 1706, and below that we have another support at 1865. But I don't believe that we will break below 1733 area and keep pushing down like 500 pips on same day. But it is gold, and in gold anything can happen, so we need to be very careful. we have drawn our zones where prices can potentially move if we break below 1733 area. So this is the whole range where can prices can move, but this range is a clean range of 70 pips, and if we break below 1733 area we can potentially drop till 1725 area. Sells below 1733 for till 1725, and these are better cells as compared to cells below 1738 area, because we have clean range present as we have looked left to see where prices can move. So now at this point we are just waiting, but there are also cells below 1738 area, below 1738 area. But the whole point is that even if the candle break and close above 1748 area or below 1733 area, I am not executing a trade. I want some criteria to be completed by markets, by gold, to potentially enter a trade. Other than that, I am I will not execute anything, and it is okay for me to miss a trading day. This is what my plan says, what my trading plan says. For now, we are just waiting. We need a volume to hit into markets, and then we can potentially see where we prices can move. If we look in GBP/JPY and prices are moving down, we have moved like 100 pips in downward directions, but let's look at higher time frames first. So as I have stated yesterday that monthly candle is moving down. We have dropped straight drop in monthly candle of about 500 pips, and there was no upper wick in monthly candle. Previous monthly candle closed above this zone at 163.400 area, so there was high probability in my opinion that we can potentially create a lower wick to keep pushing up. So we are just waiting, and prices are sort of rejecting from 160.200 area. We need to look at lower time frame to see where prices can potentially move. If we look at weekly, so previous weekly candle was bearish. Current weekly candle opened, it wicked up first and then continue moving down. It broke below the low of previous weekly candle, and it is rejecting from same area where this weekly candle got rejected. So it is a rejection in my opinion, and weekly candle is closing today, so we will have a better idea where weekly can close in after it closes. So in weekly we are bearish so far. In monthly our trend is bullish, and I'm expecting this weekly candle to flip bullish and keep pushing up, but there are 22 days left in this monthly candle close, so we need to look at lower time frame. If we look in daily, we have support at 161.900 area, and we have a resistance at 164.200 area. We are in this area at this point, And if I look just at daily time frame, it is, I would say, in a consolidation, and we don't have a clear picture where current daily candle can move. However, if we look at previous daily candle and the previous one, we see that this candle rejected from the same area where we rejected from previous week, and previous daily candle closed a strong bullish candle with little to no wick at the top, and current daily candle starts breaking above the highs first and then continue moving down. So this daily candle can flip bullish, but the probability of it flipping bullish is 50-50%. So we are very unsure where prices can move just by looking at daily time frame. If we look at H4, we need to readjust our zones. We have a zone at 165 area, and we have an other zone at 160.800 area. This is almost 430 pips of range. So we need to draw the closest support and resistances by looking at smaller time frame. We are now creating another recent resistance at 163.870 area, and we have recent support at 162.500 area. So we need to look at lower time frame. If if I just look at my H4 time frame, I can see that previous H4 candle has broken below the low of previous H4 candle, and potentially, but we are approaching a support area, so we may reject from it, but we need to wait to and we need to look at lower time frame to see where prices can potentially move. If I look at 1 hour time frame, I can see we have support at 162.500 area, and we have resistance at 163.800 area. So these are two most recent support and resistances which we have drawn based on our 1 hour time frame. We have another support at 161.800 area. Below that support, we have another support at 161.500 area, and below that support we have clean move till 160.800 area. So if I look just at H1 time frame, I can see that we have better sells below 161.500 area, and I will be very careful for sells in these areas, although it is 100 pips of move, but we need to wait. And if I look at M30, alright, if we break above 163.900 area, we can potentially keep moving up around 120 pips. So buys above 163.900. So this is our whole analysis for today. We have buys above 163.900 area, and we have sells below 161.500 area. And yeah, that's it. We are just waiting. So another thing I want to mention at this point, if we look at these four hourly candles, we can see candles are closing at almost 23 to 24 pips of consolidation. It usually means that retracement, now there is very high probability for prices to consolidate and retrace first and potentially keep moving up, or consolidate and basically create a low for the day, but it all depends. We can I only identify these when, if it is a low of a day, or if it is a consolidation for prices to keep pushing down, we can only identify them, uh, identify it when it just settles down. We need to give GBP JPY a lot of time to settle down, so we need to basically wait a lot. And the London Open, pre-London will happen in 30 minutes and London will open in 1 hour and 30 minutes. So we need to wait. Basically, we will need to wait a lot today, in my opinion, because we are just consolidating and we are moving. We need prices to consolidate first and then start, and then are anticipating that volume needs to appear, and then we can probably plan our trade. But at this point, we need to give at least 1 hour to markets to settle down. If I look at gold, we need to either break above 1748 or either break below 1738 to potentially get a trade. Other than that, we are just waiting. So today will be a long wait day, in my opinion, and in my opinion we will get trade closer to New York Open or at New York Open. So M30 candle has closed. M30 candle has closed with the body lower, and it can potentially keep moving up. But if we look at daily, we, I would say, don't have a clean range. So we are just waiting. Basically, at this point, we don't know if this market will respect previous bullish daily candle, or it will, or previous bullish candle was just an out of context candle out of these six bearish candles. We at this point just don't know, so we just need to wait. And this H4 candle is only 30 minutes old, and 3 hour and 30 minutes left for this H4 candle to close. So it will be a long wait day today. So be patient, be disciplined, and we will probably find a trade sooner or later in GBP JPY or in gold. We are open to any opportunity that market may present us, and then we can trade. And if okay, all right, so this was my analysis, what I was waiting for in GBP JPY and in gold for today. And now I want to show you something, and I want to show this to keep track of what I am doing. So let's look at my demo account history for yesterday. Okay, on yesterday I have taken like 9 trades on my demo account. Basically I traded everything, like this was my actual trading account performance, real account account performance if I was just 4 months old. So in previous 4 months I have progressed a lot. Was able to save and avoid a lot of bad trades. So you see, overtrading is not going to help me at all. Like, I have a big win trade here, but all these small losses just wiped out my profits. And so over trading, over risking is not going to help you at all. On the other hand, if I look at my real account trading history, as I have shown you that from the past, that I have taken only 13 trades starting from 15th of June till 7th of July. These were only 15 trades. These two losses were random losses. I remember them. I acted outside of my trading plan and got these major losses around $21. So if we look at our account trading history starting from July this month, this is when I only started executing on patterns that I recognize from past. So if we look at it, we can see I have only one, two, and three trades. These were small trades. I entered them although, but I closed them because these were out of my plans. So I have decided I will not trade anything that is out of my plan, even with a smaller lot. So if we exclude these both trades, these two small lot trades, I have only three trades in the month of July, and we have like 5 trading days passed. I missed a lot of trades, I know that, but it if we look at profits, we are in about 20 pips $20 profit, and it is although a very small amount because I am just testing if this thing is for me or not, and I am just reading my patterns. This is 2% gain on my account, and for the first time I have gained like 2% of my account by following rules, by following my trading plan, by following rules for risk management, trade management, technical analysis, and by monitoring everything related to my emotions and psychology. So actually in forex or in stock markets, I believe the lower you trade, the less trades you have, the more you win. So this is the whole point that I wanted to justify by showing you. And if I am looking at the stream later in point of time, to show myself that I don't need a lot of trades, but I need fewer high quality trades to probably win in this forex game. So yeah, that's it. We will now. I like to look at market time at from this dialog box and spreads. So that's why I keep this window at the top, and we are just waiting. We probably will need to wait a lot. In the meantime, if anyone of you have any question, you can send me in live stream. So let me write it down. We need to wait for gold to break outside. It can be upside or to the downside of this consolidation. Other than that, I will stay away from this thing. And in GBP JPY, the downward volumes, the bearish volume is dying, and market needs more time to settle down. And yeah, that's it. And for now, we are just waiting and waiting, and we will probably find some trade very soon. All right, I want some break. Alright, at this point our break is now over and we are just waiting. Today will be a long wait day as it was yesterday and the day before yesterday. So we will show our patience and our discipline to a maximum level today, better than what we have shown yesterday. Nothing in gold, nothing in GBP, Let's study news. Okay, we have average hourly income first, then we have non-farm employment change, then we have unemployment rate. The numbers are very bad. Change in number of employed people during previous month. Actual greater than forecast. So they are expecting a weak US dollar. So that's mean gold will go up. So yeah, we will see. We have CAD news also. So CAD is basically they are looking at weaker CAD and weaker US dollar. But we will see how markets will react. Other than that, we need volume and we want some criteria to be matched for our trades, for us to basically enter in the trade, or we will stay away from anything if market doesn't present the things we want. We are waiting for candles to close. H1 candles will close in 5 minutes, but still, yeah, you see, we were anticipating some sort of consolidation or retracement before we have another push. So basically, that all comes from experience, and we are now consolidating in GBP JPY. And in gold, the same thing is present in gold. We need to wait. Probably we will find some entries in New York session, but if I look at it, it is difficult for us to capture a trade in London session. All right, the 1 hourly candle has closed. We have closed a bullish candle after 4 bearish candles. It doesn't mean that we will go in buys, but it too means that bearish volume may be dying. So, but we need to wait. And in gold, hourly candle has closed above previous one candle high. It doesn't mean that we are going to go in buys. It means we need to wait because we are in consolidation. We and this is very dirty consolidation in my view. So in my opinion, we may not be able to see what we wanted to see in London session, and probably we will find something of interest in New York session. But waiting at this point will makes more sense. think at this point there is nothing much in GBP JPY and in gold at this point. We are 1 hour away from London Open. I will wait for London Open and I will close stream at London Open because I believe that there are very less opportunities at this point. We want high quality trades and I am pretty sure I can capture high quality trades in London Open. M15 candle has now closed. There is nothing in GBP JPY and in gold at this point. We will be staying away from both of these unless we find something. There is very little volume in market and I am waiting for 45 more minutes. If volume hits the market, it hits, else we will trade in New York session. We need to wait a lot both in GBP JPY and in gold. There is nothing that we can do at this point. All we can do is to wait as we have waited for yesterday. We captured some pretty good trade, and there is a possibility that we can capture a good trade today also, but we need to wait. We have a high volatile event in New York session, so there is high probability we will be able to find some trade in New York session, but at this point there is nothing and we are waiting. It will be a long wait game today. GBP JPY do need to break below 162.700 area to potentially keep pushing till 162.400, almost 20 pips of range at this point. And but we are waiting. We have very low to little volume, so trading inside the range doesn't makes any sense. In gold, we are also consolidating. We need to either break above or below this range to potentially execute a trade. And if we look at H4, H4 is in dirty consolidation, and in my opinion market is settling up for today major event in New York session. That's why we are ranging for so long. We have ranged like 8 H4 bars, and if we look at, we have waited for 8 H4 bars for this big move down around 400 pips. So maybe at this point we are just consolidating for a bigger thing in New York session, but we are just waiting. Nothing at this point. There is nothing that we can do, and we are just in consolidation. And I will wait for 35 more minutes before I will close this stream, because we need the type of action we want to see from market usually takes 2 to 3 hours to develop, and nothing at this point, man.